my channel. Thank you so much for being here. Today I'm so excited to finally do a little bit of a vegan update, and I challenged myself this week to record every single meal that I ate, which is kind of can be embarrassing or just like really exposing yourself and your diet. And my idea was to challenge myself to cook every single meal at home, which I did for the most part, but then there were instances where I was out and about and I hadn't pre-made my food, so I just ended up eating something reasonably unhealthy but still vegan. So I don't know, I just kind of wanted to show you what a vegan eats in a week, and this isn't something that you should completely model your diet off of. I guess this is one thing that I really wanted to move into, is just being more aware of my diet and how foods are making me feel and cooking 80% of my meals. Before I get too far into this, I wanted to give a shout out to the sponsor of today's video, which is Skillshare, and I thought that they would fit perfectly with this video because Skillshare is an online learning community for creators with over 25,000 different classes in business and design and so much more. And with a premium membership, you can join any classes that you want and join these communities. A lot of the times the teachers will actually interact with the students and have different assignments and prompts for the week, and I just think that this was a really great connection to wanting to improve your life by doing something consistently over a period of time. I personally love the sewing classes and the animation classes. Those are both things that I am very passionate about, but I don't really share on camera. I desire that later in my life I can do those things also as part of my career. I'm not ready to share my progress on those yet because I have a lot of work to do, let's just say that. But yeah, there are seriously so many different classes on Skillshare, and it's also super affordable. So an annual membership is less than $10 a month. It's a meditation when you're in the moment creating something with your hands or the sewing machine or with your laptop, and then after you have this wonderful thing that you've created, it's like it brings childlike joy. So I just really love Skillshare so much, and if you want to check it out, the first 500 people who click the first link in my bio will get 2 months free of Skillshare. So please do, if it's calling you and you have some creative endeavor that you'd like to pursue, check it out. And thank you, Skillshare, for sponsoring my video. I really appreciate it. I started off my morning on Monday with a nice vegetable stir fry. I cut up a bunch of broccoli and red pepper and carrot and just put it all in a pan with some water, and then I let the water dissolve so that the vegetables could get a little bit crispy. I added some Korean sweet potato, which was so yummy, and topped it off with a ginger tahini dressing, which I'll have linked down below because it's really good, and I discovered it in India and just kind of started making my own version of it. So that was my breakfast, which is pretty savory. And then for dinner on Monday, I made my own pizza dough and then chopped a bunch of vegetables up once again, and so much garlic. Got some tomato sauce on there and just made a veggie pizza. It was really simple and not too heavy and really delicious. I ate literally the whole entire thing. Everything that I made, I consumed. And I also really love this with nutritional yeast, which is sometimes used as a cheese substitute. It's really, really good. On Tuesday for breakfast, I had the exact same thing, roasted stir-fry vegetables. I had some sesame seeds and of course the fresh tahini ginger dressing because it just has really great flavor and is relatively light. I ate the rest of the Korean sweet potato with some of the sauce because it was really good and I didn't want to waste it. And then for lunch on Tuesday, once again, it's kind of boring, I made 2 little slices of pizza, one with vegan cheese and one without. And for dinner, I had a burrito kind of situation. This is tofu scramble with peppers, onions, spinach, and some home fries, and I wrapped it all up into a tortilla because I was just really craving a breakfast burrito. TBH, it was really good. And to get some more health in me, I made some carrot and celery juice, and that was really good nightcap. On Wednesday, I started off with some avocado toast on some like seed bread that was really yummy, and I just like my avo toast with Himalayan pink salt and pepper. And then I had some khichdi. It's just lentils and rice and really good spices, and I added a little bit of spicy garlic sauce and avocado and tortilla. Okay, I'm gonna try this one. This one's good too. A little bit. That's good.
Wow.
For lunch on Wednesday, I had even more avo toast. These pieces of bread were pretty small, so I just snacked on those, and then I had some Japanese sweet potato. I normally don't eat this much potato, but for some reason I just had a lot in my kitchen. So for dinner, I had the other half of my Japanese sweet potato, and I made some broccoli rabe and bok choy, just seasoned with some lemon and garlic, and it was so good, and some buffalo hummus, which, oh, so delicious. This was like a really nice light meal for dinner. And Thursday's breakfast was, I started off with some apple cider vinegar with turmeric, agave, and cayenne, and then also had some avo toast with sesame seeds and Himalayan pink salt and pepper, baby. And then I had a matcha at this coffee shop called Homecoming. For lunch, I had pizza. This was the first pizza I had in so long, and it was so good. This is vegan pizza from Polly Cheese. They have, I think, 3 or 4 vegan options, so I really loved those. I ran into a friend and had a third slice of pizza just because I needed to, I guess. And Thursday's dinner was relatively light because I had pizza. So this bowl of vegetables just consisted of broccoli rabe, some bok choy, chard, and beets and onions. It was really, really delicious. And then I had a second bowl of chard with a tiny piece of avo toast on the side. On Friday for breakfast, I had the same vegetable stir fry, added some squash this time, and just really went ham with the veggies. And then, of course, I made the same ginger tahini sauce poured over it. And I also made these random wraps of avocado and sweet potato. It's just really random. I was really craving seaweed, so I decided to make little seaweed wraps, and I had a bunch of those. And then a little bit later, I had some avocado toast once again with sesame seeds. And then for lunch on Friday, I had these really random noodles. I was honestly just really hungry, and this was the only option that I felt was something I wanted to eat in my neighborhood. So yeah, these are just like spicy rice noodles, and it was really good. And I had some chai tea after that, chai tea latte. And for dinner, I honestly wasn't that hungry, but my friends were eating, so I ordered something off the menu. I was like, I'm just gonna have a bite and save the rest of this for tomorrow, but of course I ate the whole thing, and it was really good. This is an Impossible Burger from this place called Bear Burger in New York, and it's completely vegan and delicious. And then I ended the night with some apple cider vinegar, cayenne, lemon, and turmeric, because it's just good for you. And I actually drink this every day. I just kind of forgot to film it every day, but I had this drink every day of the week. And Saturday, I started off with some simple oats with some dried blueberries, some coconut almond milk, and water. You know, I drink so much water, and I just need to say, shout out to water. I added some goji berries and some sunflower seeds, turmeric, chia seeds, some granola on top. For lunch on Saturday, I had a slice of pizza from Screamer's Pizza with extra nutritional yeast, and I just love this one because it has broccoli and extra sauce. I love both of those things. And then for a snack, I had extra broccoli rabe with lemon. This is one of my favorite meals. I don't know why. I love the flavor of broccoli rabe, and some people call it broccoli rabe, but yeah, I just had a bowl of that. And then for dinner on Saturday, I once again made a breakfast burrito with tons of spinach, onions, red peppers, avocado, home fries, and some hot sauce on top. It was so delicious, and this is tofu scramble. I just season it with turmeric and cumin and chili powder and salt and pepper. For Sunday's breakfast, I started off once again with some apple cider vinegar, lemon, turmeric, and cayenne. And then I had, once again, the stir-fry vegetables with ginger tahini sauce. I added some crispy garlic on top, avocado, and some seaweed on the side because I really love seaweed. For lunch on Sunday, I decided to make some tofu nuggets. I attempted making some green split peas, but they came out really bad. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna make some tofu nuggets, dip them in flour, and then dip in almond milk and some breadcrumbs, and then I just put them in a pan to get a little bit crispy on the outside on the stovetop, and then into the oven to cook and get like fully crispy on the inside. I smothered some of them in hot sauce, that's why some of them are red, and had those with a big side of vegetables, just my classic broccoli and red pepper, and it was really good, but I felt kind of shitty after. Like, I felt bloated for the first time the whole week after eating those, so wouldn't recommend. I snacked on some strawberries a little bit later and had a light dinner of a broccoli rabe, once again, my literally favorite meal ever. I can't when you're watching me. And then I had a second bowl of vegetables with crispy, crunchy chickpeas on top and a side of rice. So that is everything that I eat in a week. I really don't know. I feel kind of vulnerable putting this out on the internet because I am not a nutritionist and perhaps I'm not as well informed as I think. I don't know. I feel like I still have so much to learn, and I used to think back in the day when I first went vegan and when I was 19, I'm 21 now, so that was like 2 years ago. Pretty much, I thought that when I went vegan, my eating disorder was over, and I thought when I felt happier that my depression was over. Not really realizing that these things just come in waves and that we'll always have a relationship with our mental health and with our food that will constantly be changing, and I felt like, yeah, I had succeeded in understanding what my body needed, and then my body's needs changed, and then I felt really stressed out again, like, damn it. And I went through quite a few phases of that throughout my veganism and also throughout my mental health until I found some solutions that always worked for me and really realized that, yeah, it's a relationship. That relationship will always change, and that is the only true fact, is that everything is always changing. So it feels really good to just be fully aware of that. I have been vegan for 3 years. If you didn't know, I went vegan cold turkey. I was in college for the short time that I did go to college in Santa Barbara, California, baby. I watched Earthlings, which was earth-shattering to me, and I'm a very empathetic creature. I cried, I felt so emotional, I felt like I just really wanted to stand up for the animals, and I immediately was like, okay, I'm going vegan. I felt so good, I felt amazing, and I was so excited to embark on this vegan journey. And from then I watched 101 Reasons to Go Vegan and so many other documentaries, including What the Health and more scientific, so to speak, documentaries that really showed how veganism affects the health of your body and what eggs do to your body, what meat does to your body over time. And I noticed that after I stopped drinking milk and stopped eating cheese, that my skin cleared up so much. Everything just seemed so easy to replace, and I just really loved it. So I went vegan cold turkey, and eventually, after I moved to New York City, I learned about the high carb, low fat diet in veganism, which many of you may be aware of. It was such a big fad diet, and I didn't realize how restrictive it actually was because everyone talked about it so casually, and it really made me afraid to eat fat. So for about a whole year and a half-ish, I ate mostly potatoes as my diet, and I felt really good. Once again, I lost a lot of weight, my skin was great. Not eating any oil is just amazing for your skin, so I was even happier about that. I had energy, but that only lasted for about a year, a good year, I'll say. But then I started to get really dizzy. I started to feel really nutrient deficient. I started to feel like I was gonna faint all the time, and I was like, I cannot do this anymore. This is actually really fucked up and bad for me. So I started to try and diversify my diet and just eat a bigger variety of foods and eat junk foods and slowly learn not to be afraid of fat and oil, which your body needs. And I also learned that starchy carbs, dense carbs like pastas and mostly potatoes take so much energy for your body to process, and that's really tiring for your digestive system. It just uses up so much energy. And I read this book, I think it's called Thrive, What is the Most Efficient Diet for the Human Body? You know, how can you truly make your body thrive? And he started following that diet, which was a vegan diet, and he has a bunch of recipes in the book as well, and I fell in love with it. It's basically a nutrient dense diet. I realized how much more efficient it was for my body to be getting the most nutrients that it can and to be getting a balanced amount of fats and oils along with the amount of carbs that I need that are easier to break down. And it made me so happy. Once again, made a whole video about that on my channel. I'm in a freaking bikini in it. I don't know why. And then the next thing that happened on my vegan journey was the bloating period, which most vegans go through pretty early on, but I had not experienced bloating like this until 2 years in being vegan, where I was bloated every single day, where a blueberry would make me puff up, where I would wake up bloated and it was painful and it was horrible. And eventually I saw a vegan nutritionist who told me that very simply I had an overgrowth of candida. Everyone has candida, but having too much of it is bad and can cause bloating. And I made a whole video talking about my experience with a vegan nutritionist. So she gave me some probiotics to take. She said take these before every meal. They will protect your stomach and they will just give more of the good bacteria that you need into your gut. And she kind of taught me about gut health. It was pretty basic information that she was telling me. She would just tell me what were in certain fruits and vegetables. Just really simple knowledge that I could have found myself. But I think I really did need her to give me the solution and hold me accountable for what I was eating. Just kind of guide me through what was going on inside my body, which I am really grateful for. And eventually my bloating started to go away, and the main, I think, problem that was causing my candida overgrowth was the amount of sugar that I was eating. I was eating a lot of natural sugar, like I would eat a whole carton of strawberries or 3 whole mangoes for breakfast or like 5 bananas in a day, and that's because, once again, I saw a bunch of vegans eating high volumes of fruit. I tried to implement little parts of those diets into my life, and they just kind of made me feel sick. So I started to eat just 1 serving of sugar every single day, taking my probiotics, logging my food. But yeah, the main difference in my diet that ended my bloating was the amount of sugar that I was eating, including carbs, because carbs turn into sugar. I would eat quinoa instead of rice, and I didn't eat any potatoes during this time. My bloating completely went away, so that was amazing, and I felt amazing after seeing this change in my body and slightly changing my diet. From there, that lasted for a while. Last winter, I traveled to Thailand, Bali, and Japan. I went through a yoga teacher training. I was releasing a lot of emotional shit, and I had fallen in love with this beautiful man who I'm still with, and it was really hard. I wanted to run away from the love. I felt all my past traumas just screaming in my face. I felt afraid a lot, and I was breaking out. I felt really exhausted, and I was like, why is this happening? Is it the vegan diet, you know? Like, what is going on? That's when I really started supplementing, taking my vitamins every single day, because I really wanted to take care of the body and make sure that it wasn't deficient. I went through my yoga teacher training and actually was able to heal a lot of the problems that I felt. You know, the fatigue, the brain fog, the low motivation, the low self-esteem, the heaviness. Yoga, hatha yoga specifically, tantra hatha yoga more specifically, is what really transformed all of those chronic things that I was feeling and made them completely disappear. It made me feel amazing. So after that, I went to Japan, which was kind of hard to find vegan options. I ate like soba noodles every day and just white rice and really basic stuff. I went to Vipassana, which is a 10-day meditation. I was only allowed to eat 2 meals a day there, which were all mostly like soba noodles and brown rice. I personally loved, but it was basically a high carb, low fat diet. I got back to New York, I filmed what I eat in a day, and I wasn't really aware of how skinny I was, but a lot of people started leaving me comments about it. People made videos about how skinny I was, and my skin was still breaking out and healing from that. So people were like making fun of my skin, how skinny and disproportionate my boobs were to my body. People were saying like my boobs look so fake compared to my body, and if I'm vegan, why would I have implants? And I do not have implants. But some people's boobs are composed more of fat than others. So some people who have big boobs, when they lose weight, their boobs get smaller because they're mostly made of fat. And then other people who have more like firm breast tissue, when they lose weight, their boobs can stay the same size. And that's always been the case for me, no matter what size I've been. So people were just saying a lot of stuff about my body. I really wanted to prove to myself that I wasn't orthorexic and that I wasn't afraid of food, because that was a really big thing that people were saying, like, oh, I bet she doesn't even eat that food, like she's so skinny, you can see her ribs and no wonder she's breaking out, she's not eating. And I was like, I can eat, like I'm fucking eating. So I don't know, I guess for the past like half of a year I've been eating a lot of vegan junk food, more than I think is healthy. I would be eating like a vegan nacho platter and then an oily falafel, and that would be all I would eat for the whole day, like 3 days in a row. I would just eat the same thing, and I would just feel like shit because it's not the same as cooking for yourself. It's oily, it's just unhealthy. It doesn't feel like it's made with love, and you're just putting it into your mouth just because you need to feed yourself. Like, that's pretty much what I was doing, is eating just because I needed to, and I was like, okay, this is substantial, like you can't say that I'm orthorexic, or like I didn't want to have to worry about getting too skinny or something. Doesn't really make sense at all, I know. But the whole time I was in India, I really realized my relationship to food wasn't feeling good, and so I came back to New York and decided to challenge myself to cook every single meal that I ate in a whole week. And I obviously did not complete that perfectly, but I did cook most of my meals at home. The junk food that I was craving, I made for myself at home, which was a little bit healthier, and it felt really good. I was like sending pictures to my partner all week just of the different meals I was making. So excited, even if it was really basic, like my broccoli tahini breakfast bowl. Like, it just felt so good to get creative in the kitchen and to nourish myself. It truly felt like self-love this whole past week, and that is the biggest breakthrough that I had in these 7 days. Yeah, was that I can love myself through food. I can heal myself through food. I feel so much lighter in my body, and I also want to say that I think a lot of people associate your weight with your health, and before I went to India, I filmed a lookbook. It was a winter lookbook, and I got a few comments saying, "You're so skinny, sad face," and people assuming that because I was skinny that must mean that I'm restricting my food or that I am somehow trying to lose weight. But in reality, I was actually eating like the worst food for me, which by that I just mean like processed vegan junk all the time, which isn't good. Only eating that stuff, you know, and somehow still staying skinny or losing weight through that. I don't really know how that makes sense. And I was like, damn, I really have to just not worry about how people are perceiving my health or my appearance, and just really listen to what my body needs. And if my natural healthy state of my body is to be like slender, for some reason when I say slender it reminds me of Slender Man, but if my natural healthy body is just a skinny body and a smaller frame and a smaller waist, then I just have to accept that and not be like changing my diet because of what I think my body is supposed to look like, I guess. I was afraid to eat healthy because I was afraid to become orthorexic and get skinnier and be shamed, and I just don't think that's right, and I don't know why I was doing that for so long. And as you can see from this week, I don't eat completely healthy, but healthy to me means making most of my own meals, controlling how much oil is in certain things, and controlling my own portion sizes depending on what I want. And I'm not trying to lose weight, I just want to eat healthy and intuitively and eat mostly vegetables. I think that's just like a healthy rule of thumb, is to eat mostly vegetables, even if you aren't vegan. I don't know if you guys have struggled with orthorexia, but it's basically when you become obsessed with eating healthy and you don't want to eat anything unhealthy in your life. So you just, I think a lot of vegans actually have done this, is use veganism as a way to continue their eating disorder because it is such a healthy diet that you can lose a lot of weight on. I just really don't want that to be the case for me. I'm so rambly right now. I don't know why I'm so rambly. I'm like all over the place because I'm not like an informative vegan. I feel like I don't have all the facts. I don't have all the tips. I just have my experience to share, and so I'll just share that and then leave the professionals to talk about veganism, leave the nutritionists to talk about all the good, juicy facts. So I'll have a bunch of documentaries and the book that I mentioned earlier down below. I definitely am very encouraging of the vegan diet, but I just don't want to be a preachy vegan. Some people who are vegan will probably get annoyed at me for being like, you have such a big platform, why aren't you being more informative or preaching veganism? But I just don't want to preach about that because I know everyone's body is so different and so sensitive, and it's a sensitive issue what you're putting in your body, so I just refuse to shame people's diets. It's just not a natural thing for me to do, so I will just happily lead by example, maybe give you a meal idea or two, and definitely send you over to the professionals. I just don't have the energy in me to hate or shame or preach to others why the way that I'm eating is better than the way they're eating. And yeah, I guess that's all I have to say for today. The sun is like shining in my room now. Don't forget, if you would like to try 2 free months of Skillshare, you can click the first link in my bio, and if you're in the first 500 people, you can get it for free. Oh gosh, I'm so grateful. Okay, I'm gonna go and bask in the sunlight on the streets of New York, and I hope you can take some of my love with you, just like I'm giving it to you. So like, reach out and grab it and take it with you throughout your day. I care for you deeply, and I hope that you can keep being mindful of your diet and how different foods are making you feel. Take your probiotics. Here I am rambling again because I don't want to say goodbye. But okay, have an amazing day, guys. Bye!